Guys, we have another pretty slow week at the box office yet again, but we have good news and bad news. Three movies are gonna make money, and yep, one movie is gonna lose a massive chunk of money. Which, yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home got a re-release as well, and yep, it topped the box office, which it beat Top Gun at the box office, which means Spider-Man No Way Home topped the box office yet again, which shows that, there's nothing coming out, basically. Nothing that people actually want to see is coming out, so Spider-Man is the number one movie of the week. Which again, I don't know why companies are avoiding Labor Day weekend for box office, because Shang-Chi disproved that movies cannot make money at the box office. Actually, Shang-Chi did lose like $20 million, but didn't make up through merchandise, Blu-ray, and DVD. No, it was $2 million. Which again, that was made up extreme, like 2 to 5 million. It was such a small amount that it was made up relatively easily. Same thing with Black Widow as well. Top Gun, this movie, I don't think it's gonna be surpassed. Top Gun has made $700 million domestically, and it has made $1.42 billion. Okay, that's how much money Top Gun has made. Okay, actually $1.43 billion. Okay, $1.43 billion basically, and it's gonna continue making money until the next major movie comes out, Wild Crocodile, because of course, but don't worry, darling, that movie's gonna make no money. No, that movie's gonna make no money. It's gonna make like $10 million, or it's gonna do like the other movie. Basically, it's gonna do like the other movie, World of Crocodile, and open to 20 million, and that'll make it like $80 million at the box office somehow. Through of course word of mouth. But yep, Top Gun. I don't think it's gonna be surpassed. Disney thinks, oh, but Black Panther will. Okay, Black Panther's not gonna make $1 billion. Okay, Doctor Strange didn't make $1 billion. I wouldn't be surprised if Black Panther is the second MCU property to have a decline from its previous entry. Okay, the first being Thor, with Thor Love and Thunder. Okay. Next is DC League of Super Pets. Again, they don't have the international numbers updated for this movie, but safe to say this movie is a box office failure, a box office flop, unlike Bull Train, which is gonna make back its money at the end of the day because of legs and word of mouth for that movie. This movie, which despite this, the critics hated Bull Train, but the critics loved DC League of Super Pets. But DC League of Super Pets isn't really making that much money, considering the fact that Minions has basically stolen all of this movie's thunder throughout the past month, and might even make $1 billion, similar to Despicable Me 3 rigged out to be. So DC League of Super Pets, again, another box office failure. You know, not too surprising here. Bull Train, again, this movie might even hit $100 million domestically. But yeah, this movie needs to make around $214.75 million to break even. So it's gonna need it basically needs to make around $215 million, and that is becoming more and more likely at this moment. This movie has been gaining a cult following and might even get a sequel as well. So yeah, this movie is doing really, really well for not being a part of a franchise. It's probably the only non-franchise movie that has really been hyped up this year before the release. Most of them, they really rely on wigs at this point because they have to compete with the big franchises, the big, massive blockbuster franchises that come out every year. The same movies that, come out. And this could become the next John Wick. This could become the next, new franchise that gets popped up, basically. But again, it really depends if this first movie pulls it off. As well as I think it will. It's only at negative $20 million, which is pretty good. As well, the international box office is picking up slack for this movie. Which a lot of these non-franchise movies tend to struggle internationally. So yeah, The Invitation is another movie that will probably make back its money at the end of its box office run. It needs to make around like $7 million more, and it's having pretty decent rigs at the box office. So yeah, this movie I think will probably make. It only needs to make $25 million to break even. This only needs to make $25 million to break even. So it is $5 million. It needs to make $5 million more. Invitation needs to make $5 million more to make back its money at the box office. It needs to make $5 million more, which it probably will make $5 million more. Beast, yeah, it's just Elba's new movie. It's a box office failure. the movie sounded boring, and it needs to make $90 million to break even, and it's not gonna make $90 million at this point. It's not. It's a box office failure. Not as much as not as much as another movie further down the line, but yeah. Next is Minions: The Rise of Gru. This movie continues doing really well rigs wise. Okay, I think it'll still do pretty well throughout September. It'll probably dip below a million by the beginning of October. But yeah, it is out on Blu-ray. But I think because there's nothing else, like Top Gun is gonna continue making money in the theaters. There's no competition for this movie besides DC League of Super Pets. So yeah, the reason why this movie is the reason why DC League of Super Pets is a box office failure, and the other movie, Resident of Hank, whatever it's called, is a failure as well. Okay, Minions is the sole reason. Both of those movies flopped. So yeah. It's kind of like that one Thanos meme. I have won, but at what cost? Next is Foreign Thunder. Yeah, this movie has made $111 million, which is not as impressive as any of the Marvel movies. Not very impressive considering it's a Marvel movie, but it still made money, which good for Marvel. Still made money, but it's one of those movies. Well, it didn't really do as well as the previous entry in the series definitely did. Okay, next movie is The Whale of Crawdad Singing Again. This movie has made a huge chunk of money. It needed to make around $60 million to break even and has made $50 million worldwide. This movie has done really, really, really well rigs-wise at the box office. And yep, there we go. There you go. Next is Nope. Yep, this movie I think it's gonna make money at the end of the day as well. It needs to make around similar amount of money that Morbius needed to, and Morbius did not make that much amount of money. But this movie needs to make around $170 million worldwide. International box office should throw this movie over the finish line. So yeah, this movie sort of is the third movie that I think is gonna make back its money as well. So Nope, I think it's gonna make back its money at the box office. 3,000 Years of Longing. Yeah, this is the movie I was talking about. $142 million lost for United Artists releasing. Okay, this movie costed $90 million. It costed $60 million to make, and it only made $6 million. Okay, that's abysmal. No one is watching this movie. Of course, one, it's not a part of a franchise. Of course, not a part of a franchise, so people are not gonna go see it. The trailer looked pretty boring and looked pretty generic. People don't want to see that. People want to see good movies. Okay? And if this was a part of a franchise, I still think it would have bombed. Okay? This movie just looked so boring and generic. They started putting out trailers for this and it looked so boring. Okay? It looked so boring. It looks like a bad movie. Okay? And yeah, this movie is a box office failure. It might be released internationally, maybe like $2 million, maybe. Honk for Jesus, another movie. No, really nobody is watching this movie. Okay, not too surprising. It sounds like a pretty bad movie, as well. So yeah. Next is Elvis. Again, this movie has made $281 million. Pretty successful run. I don't think it's gonna hold that well over the next month because it's only made $1.1 billion this week. And yeah, Jurassic World Dominion hasn't hit $1 billion. Nope, it's at $996 million worldwide at this current moment. I think it will barely make $1 billion. I think at the very, very end, it's so close that I think they're gonna try. It's gonna barely make $1 billion, or maybe the first movie to almost hit $1 billion. But I think this movie will barely hit $1 billion at the end of the day, which means it'll be the second $1 billion hitter at the end of the day. Could Minions hit $1 billion? That's the question that I'm asking. Basically, I think Minions could hit $1 billion. People are saying that it's performing very similarly to Despicable Me 3, and Minions, the first one, as well. Because the Minions movies have a really, really, really good rigs. Okay, that's what they typically have, especially internationally. The Minions movies have really good rigs because they don't really have much competition overseas, so they have extremely good rigs overseas. Especially in terms of animated movies. So I think Minions will continue making money overseas for such a long time. Okay? That's basically about this video. Yeah. So, That means we'll have $3 billion movies, I think, at the end of the year. Minions, overseas it's doing really well. Okay, having extremely good legs internationally. In most of these countries, typically how Minions movies have been doing, basically. And yep, that's basically what this video. Goodbye.